Subway. It's the sandwich shop that's taken over the world.
I do love Subway. Yeah, I always get Subway.
With nearly 40,000 stores.
You having a sandwich? Yeah, what bread?
Across over 100 countries.
Any salad for you?
It's the biggest fast food chain on the planet.
Any cookies for you? Of course.
And with over 2,400 stores in the UK, this American import is the British public's #1 choice when we want to buy a foot-long slice of British food. A sandwich.
Tuna melt, chicken teriyaki.
Spicy Italian.
So how does a humble butty bar become bigger than McDonald's? How has Subway taken over the world? We go inside to find out. Subway, how do they really do it?
When I think of Subway, I think of a sandwich shop on steroids.
They've gone from zero to hero in less than 30 years. With 2,400 UK stores, they're as ubiquitous as some of Britain's biggest brands.
There's only a very small number of companies that have that many shops or outlets in Britain. And it comes down to Tesco, Boots, and Royal Mail.
Subway have taken over the country. What's their secret?
Britain is a nation built on sandwiches. We invented the product, but Subway gave it a peculiarly American spin. However outrageous the combination of flavors and ingredients, we can do it for you.
Just toasty, Jen.
What you get is this enormous thing, between 6 and 12 inches long, a submarine, and it's stuffed with customised options, free, as part of the proposition.
And it's not just the size that has got us hooked. The most important thing about a Subway sandwich is you're in control.
The secret to Subway's success is every customer can come in and build their own sandwich and have it how they like. Have their salad as they like and their sauce as they like. Just a 6-inch for you.
I just like the ingredients, like the selection, the types of sandwiches that they do.
It's not like where you just go buy a sandwich in a shop and everything's already made for you. Like with Subway, you can kind of personalise it, which I think is really nice.
There's not just what filling do you want, it's what bread do you want, what sauces do you want, what toppings do you want.
Add together all these options and you get a staggering 37 million possible combinations of their menu.
Just toasty, Jen, no worries.
The brand's best seller is the Big Meat Tasty, or BMT. Incredibly, 39,000 of these beauties are sold every single day in the UK and Ireland. Subway veteran Joanne shows us the slick skills required to build this meaty masterpiece.
You just slice your bread and you always do your build as closest to yourself, so your meat goes on this end. So you just make sure your meat's all neat, and then you would ask if they want cheese toasted. So they get 4 slices of cheese. So that's just ready to go into the toaster. Every bite the customer takes, they can taste the meat, taste the cheese, taste the pickles, taste whatever build of salad that they've got. So that's that toasted. And that's ready for salad. So it's just 2 kind of generous handfuls. Make sure it's covered from end to end. And then your tomatoes, you get 6 tomatoes on a sub. And the same with your cucumber. They want sauce, say it's southwest, and for a foot long, it's just 1, 2, and 3. And that's you. So that's just ready to be sliced. And it's 1, 2. And that's that, basically. Ready to go, from start to finish.
You've got to take your hat off to a Subway sandwich maker, though, haven't you? Everything's laid out with retail theatre. I mean, you've got to give them the accolade when it comes to picture-perfect sandwiches.
Making a picture-perfect sandwich is an art form. Subway even trademarked the title Sandwich Artist for their staff.
Sandwich artist, so no one ever believes me when I tell them that that was my job title. People just think it's a bit of a joke, but I can see why. Not every sandwich is the same.
The thing that's unique to Subway is that it has all the efficiency and all the processes of a military operation like other fast food restaurants. But they managed to achieve a sense of handcrafted, custom-built sandwiches. It's a really difficult trick to pull off.
And this genius starts at the very beginning of the sandwich build, using a special technique called the hinge cut.
When you start making the sandwich, you've got to start with the hinge cut. There's a certain angle. You've got to start from the bottom inside edge and work your way diagonally up to the top, then straight across, and then diagonally back down. And that, I think, is just designed to really help you, get your fillings in there. It's not just a straight sliced bread. This is not your normal sandwich making. This is special.
Right at the beginning of the process, as you come in, there are these sandwich artistes who are creating these bespoke products for you within a fast food context. And that is unique.
And it's uniquely successful. Subway serve 11,800 subs every single hour in the UK and Ireland. So how do Subway make bespoke sandwiches quickly? Subway sandwich artists' secret to speeding up the process is a carefully choreographed collaboration.
During a busy lunch rush, you would organise the team. Basically, that's where you've got your most staff on, is during those peak hours. We would all divide up. Basically, you would have someone doing the bread, getting that out of the trays, slicing it up, moving it on to the next person who starts with the meats. And then they would get it into the toaster or microwave or whatever that customer wanted. And then that would then get passed out from there to the person doing the salads. And then that would go to sauces and wrapping and onto the tills. You've maybe got 4 or 5 different people working on the line, and during a busy period, that's what you need to just kind of keep things moving.
Subway's key secret, customization, has proved so popular that Subway serve 113 million customers every year. It's been a game changer for the industry.
When Subway first arrived in the UK, Britain didn't really have a culture of making sandwiches in front of you. It's become part of our culture now. Even McDonald's allows you to customize some of their products now, which was inconceivable, just 15, 20 years ago.
Coming up, we'll reveal the secrets of Subway's great taste and what really goes into your favourite sub.
For the salt and the sugar, that's what our brains crave when we're eating fast food.
And how Subway sold us the promise of a healthy option.
The idea was, we're healthy if we even have green things in this cabinet, And if it's green, it's got to be good for you.
Just a 6-inch for you.
When Subway hit the UK high street in 1996, people's attitudes to fast food were changing.
There was a real bad rap around the idea of fast food. So many people through the 80s and 90s had really enjoyed it. It was part of Saturday culture. You went out, you met your friends, you'd go to a Maccadee's or a Burger King's. And then there was a real awakening. The idea that actually perhaps that food you're putting into your body every week wasn't the healthiest. Did we need to start thinking about things in a different way? And I think Subway really tried to ride on the coattails of that.
Subway jumped in with a fresh spin on fast food. Veg.
The idea was, well, look, we're fast food, but we're healthier fast food because you get to choose the ingredients and you can choose healthy stuff. We even have green things in this cabinet, And if it's green, it's got to be good for you.
Hiya, you having salad?
Subway surfed the health craze by showcasing their sandwich artists' skill with salads.
Our veg gets made daily. We chop it in the back and bring it straight out to the front before we open, and will get used that day.
You think a big chain and you just assume everything just kind of comes in a box and you open it up and put it out, but all that veg that goes in the salads and stuff, that's all prepped by your sandwich artist. We would spend a couple of hours every morning getting fresh deliveries from the local food supply. In our case, it was a local farm.
The veg keeps the salads fresh. But to succeed as a brand across the range, they need reliability.
Subway need a consistent offer. And one of the things that they insist upon to create that consistency is one set of supply for ingredients. Basically products that taste the same no matter whether they're in Aberdeen or Cornwall.
keeping consistency across over 2,400 UK stores isn't easy. So how do they do it? By keeping the supply chain simple.
We've traded with Subway for about 12 years now, and we offer a robust supply chain and distribution solution for them. The whole range sits in here at any one time, so we've got 170 bespoke lines that sit in the depot. We supply Subway with 7.6 million cases per annum. Basically everything that they would need is in this depot as we speak.
Almost everything a Subway store requires can be ordered from this one supplier at the click of a mouse.
The Subway customers place an order through a portal, and we have a team of guys that will come in through the night and they will pick these orders. We have a warehouse that stores ambient and chilled products, and then we have a frozen chamber where these products will sit. We load our vehicle in reverse order, so our last delivery goes on first and our first delivery goes on last, and then once the vehicle's loaded we'll plug it in and have it ready for dispatch when the allocated driver for that vehicle comes in the morning.
This distribution centre in Edinburgh is just one hub in the national network. It supplies the whole of Scotland's 197 stores with 87 tonnes of stock every week. And the bulk of those orders...
The biggest single line's obviously got to be the bread, because it features in virtually everything. You know, interesting fact, if we took the foot-long product that Subway use, if we laid that end to end, it would go from here to Australia and back.
That's one round-the-world ticket on a bridge of bread every year.
I didn't work that out, but somebody did.
But there's bread, and there's baked-in-store bread. Engineered to pull customers in.
The first thing I think of when I hear Subway is the smell. There is a scent to a Subway store that is like no other. It's just got its own thing going on.
When you walk into a Subway, you are hit by the smell of fresh bread. And being cynical, I presume that this was essentially a smell that was pumped in. To give credit to Subway, they do actually genuinely bake their bread in store. So when they say it is freshly baked bread, actually that is correct.
So I'm just panning bread ready to get put into the proofer. So we got all our bread in, we put it in the proofer for 20 minutes and then we take it out to flavour it. So we use the template to check the size of the bread before putting it up on the proofer and making sure it's the right size.
Those seductive aromas lure punters in, where they're presented with 8 different options to choose from.
So we flavour it, we've got the herbs and cheese, hearty and multi-seed, and we just roll it onto the seasoning.
Very picky with my bread, Italian herb and cheese, always.
The fact that they heat it up for you, put it in an oven, and it crisps up as well. So yeah, I do like the bread at Subway.
For me, it's the Italian herb and cheese, so that's my favourite bread when I go.
Subway's bread has a fanatical following. Even beyond the selection of seasonings, there's something very special about it.
I don't think it takes a connoisseur or a master chef to know that Subway bread doesn't taste like normal bread. There's something very, very different about it. It smells different, it tastes different, it's aerated, it's very plumped up. There's something about the Subway bread that I think makes it almost addictive for customers, and they're not quite sure why.
There's a fundamental difference between Subway bread and a typical baker's roll: sugar. We asked analyst Duncan Campbell to break it down for us.
We've been looking at these 2 different bread samples. We had 2 white rolls, one from Subway, another one, a white roll from a local baker's.
The difference in the amount of sugar is quite significant.
When we look at the sugars, the Subway roll has got 5.5 grams, 100 grams of sugar, and the one from the local baker, 2.4. So twice as much sugar in the Subway roll.
The local baker's roll has more salt and less fat than Subway's, but the Subway sub has double the sugar.
When we look into the different sugars that are present, they've both got similar levels of maltose, which is coming out of the bread flour during the proving process prior to baking. But then in the Subway roll, we find 2.5 grams per 100 grams of sucrose, and then some glucose as well. So both of those sugars have been added into the product before baking to make it sweeter.
Subway agree their bread contains added sugar. They say the Italian bread we tested is 4.5% when consumed, within the EU low sugar claim. The added sugar hits the sweet spot for customers, but it's made some awkward headlines for Subway.
In Ireland, you don't have to pay VAT on bread. However, bread is defined as containing less than 2% sugar. One Subway franchisee tried to claim back some of the VAT that had been paid in relation to the Subway bread, but the courts in Ireland said no, it should be treated in the same way as cake because it had more than 2% worth of sugar. Anything that has more than 2% worth of sugar should be treated not as a staple food, but instead should be treated as a luxury food.
So is it bread or cake? Subway say this is a complex VAT case going back nearly 2 decades and is based on a prior tax law in Ireland. Under current Irish tax law, Subway bread is defined as bread. Whether it's luxury food or a basic staple, what would eating nothing but Subways do to your health? Food vlogger and human guinea pig Mike Jeevens is about to embark on a week-long, strictly Subway diet to find out.
The Subway, it's a takeaway, a treat. They do market it as a healthier option. So hopefully I won't gain too much weight. Hopefully I won't feel too bloaty, too gross. But time will tell. So, yes, let's go grab the first meal of the week. And here it is, a Mega Melt.
The 6-inch Mega Melt packs bacon, eggs, sausages and cheese into a 519-calorie breakfast with 23 grams of fat.
By eating Subway for the next week, I want to see how it will affect my mood, my weight, and just basically how I feel overall.
Thank you very much, I appreciate it. You too, cheers.
After his full British in a bap, Subway style, Mike goes the whole hog for lunch.
Oh, look at this. That's spicy.
And he's over-ordered on the chilies.
Oh, no, need a drink. Ooh.
By ordering the foot-long Meatball Marinara on day 1, Mike's in danger of peaking too early.
Oh, got to say, maybe having a foot long for lunch was a mistake because right now I should be working. However, all I want to do is nap. Loads of meatballs, loads of bread, sitting right there, just making me tired. I would do anything for a nap right now.
The Meatball Marinara is an iconic product for Subway. It's not actually their best-selling item, but it is the one that everybody talks about. It's that combination of the meatballs and that sauce that's slathered over it, and then different cheeses on top of that. It is a beast. It is, you might say, a whopper of a product, and the calorific values are huge. The 12-inch version is nearly 1,000 calories, so this is not your healthy option, let's face it. Not surprisingly, hungry people love it. It's very successful for them.
So successful, they've brought out a vegan version to widen the market further.
My favourite Subway sandwich is the meatless Meatball Marinara. How can I say it?
I always get the vegan marinara meatballs. And it's just like, oh, it's just so good. You're making me want a Subway now.
Subway's recipe for Meatball Marinara is a trade secret. But during lockdown in 2020, the company made public a make-at-home version for fans desperate for their meatball fix. We asked executive chef and Subway fan Dave Critchley to see if he can spot what makes these meatballs such a winner.
This is the Meatball Marinara, probably my favourite of the Subway sandwiches, and that's what we're going to recreate now. We're using 125 grams of beef mince. We're also using 125 grams of pork mince as well. OK, we're going to get nice flavour from mixing the two minces together. And from a cost point of view, it keeps the price down as well.
The recipe is clever, as it puts the tastier and cheaper meat, pork, on equal footing with the beef.
Now, 40 grams of breadcrumb. It's quite a lot for this amount of meat. But the breadcrumbs do help to keep it together.
Like the pork, the breadcrumbs are cheap and keep costs down, and also absorb fat and flavour. It's a win-win.
And also a teaspoon of salt. It's quite a lot of salt in there, but all meat needs to be well seasoned.
With herbs and seasonings added, Dave is ready to roll.
I'm doing this by hand. I'd imagine the process with Subway will be a little bit different. The machines they use will probably keep these identical size, shape, weight, which is great for watching your profit margins, no waste. Meatballs are rolled, we now need to get them cooked.
While the meatballs brown, Dave can turn his attention to the sauce and what he thinks makes it such a success.
But the salt and the sugar, that's what our brains crave. When we're eating fast food, that's what we're after. And here's our fresh Meatball Marinara sub, straight out the oven. And here's our Subway version here.
Last year, Subway sold over 10 million of these calorific mammoths in the UK and Ireland. How is human guinea pig Mike feeling a day after his meatball bonanza?
It is the second day of a week on eating nothing but Subway. And I've woken up this morning feeling kind of still a bit full. I had a lot of bread yesterday, 2.5 foot of it to be exact. So I do think I'm going to give breakfast a miss. I've reined things in as far as lunch goes, so I'm only having a 6-inch, but I am having a meal deal, so I'm going to have a side and a drink and a cookie. Gonna be a nice lunch, this. Today, 2 pots of the meatballs.
Mike has pulled back on the bread, but he can't resist those balls.
One is the meat version and one is meat-free. Taste exactly the same. It's going well so far, very happy. Right, see you on day 4.
Sugary bread, monster meatballs. How is it possible for Subway to be seen as a healthier option?
Now, my take on that is, what are the alternatives within the market? Burger King? McDonald's? Relative to their alternatives, yes, they are healthier. And then the question really lies with the consumer. What do they consider as healthier? Consumers shop with their wallets and walk with their feet to the shops that they want to purchase from. They want Subway sandwiches. They consider them as healthier. And it's not just about whether it's healthy or not. It's value for money, and that's what the consumer wants. And that's what Subway's giving them.
The fact is that Subway ticks quite a lot of boxes. It's quick, it's fresh, it's customizable. It's about saying, we'll give you anything you want. It can be healthy if you want it to be, or not.
Coming up, the secret of how Subway came to dominate almost every shopping street.
You might think that you're buying from a big corporation, the Subway Corporation. You're not.
And what really goes into Subway's best-selling sauce?
Flavour on flavour on flavour here. You probably wouldn't realise there's so many ingredients just in the dressing alone.
Subway's UK domination might seem like an overnight success, but they've been perfecting their business in America for over 50 years. And it all kicked off in 1965 from some humble beginnings.
Subway's history is very cute. A young guy, Fred DeLuca, he's only 17. This is in Connecticut, USA. And he's around at a family barbecue, and a family friend, much older than him, called Pete Buck, they're talking. And Fred says, how can I raise money to go to college? And Pete says he remembered seeing a sandwich shop in another town, and there was a big queue outside. He said, you should start a sandwich shop. You can make lots of money doing that. And Fred said, well, that sounds great. But I haven't got the money to start a sandwich shop. And Pete says, I'll lend you the money as long as we go 50-50.
It started small, it grew slowly, and all of a sudden there was an explosion. And that happened here as well. It came over in the 90s. We only got up to 100 stores after a good few years, and then all of a sudden exploded into the marketplace, and it felt like there was a Subway on every corner.
The tastiest toasty in the world won't make you a global giant. The secret of a Subway on every corner has been a savvy business model.
When you buy your sub from Subway, you might think that you're buying from a big corporation, the Subway Corporation who are selling it to you. You're not. You're buying it from a franchisee. Subway allow this person to use their brand, you know, the signage, the colouring, those smells that come out of the Subway when you go into it. And in return, they receive some money. But they don't actually operate the shop.
The shops are run by people like Alison Kenner.
As a franchisee, you obviously have to apply to become a part of the Subway family. Initially, you have to pass an exam to become a franchisee. So it's a great way for Subway to ensure that everybody is uniformly trained, that is consistent, and that we know exactly the procedures and the criteria that's expected of us. And that support with a franchise means that you can concentrate on running your business.
As a franchisee, you don't have to develop that brand. You've already got that brand heritage. People know what Subway's about. They know what to expect. You just have to set up a store and sell.
You don't have to have the worry of the marketing or how to get your business up and running because you've got a ready-made model. It's then up to you to take on board and make it your business and concentrate on the operations, the people and the guests that come into your store.
Subway are the franchise masters, and they are one of the most economical franchise models to have. It is a more affordable price point to take on a Subway than a lot of the other fast-moving fast food brands.
Subway is a relatively low entry level for investment. So it could anything from maybe £86,000 up to maybe £200,000, just depending on the site and the location of the restaurant.
How do Subway manage to keep those costs lower than their competition?
The key thing about Subway, which is so different from, say, McDonald's or Burger King or Pizza Hut, is there's very little equipment. There's no big, heavy ovens and grills and frying machines. You literally just have that little sandwich heater, you have the bread prover, and that's kind of it. There's no real kit, and therefore very little investment.
A smaller upfront fee means Subway can take a bigger share of every shop's takings, a lucrative model for head office.
The way most franchises work is that you pay a small amount of your weekly turnover to the holding company. Subway's very different. The upfront costs are often very low. But in return, once you get that Subway up and running, you are handing over a fair old whack of money to Subway Holding Company. You're handing over 12.5% of all of your turnover.
For every £1,000 of sales that you take in a week, let's say, you're giving £120 of it to Subway, in addition to all the costs that you incur through buying the ingredients and so on and so forth. So that's quite a lot of money versus McDonald's, Burger King and other franchisees.
Of the 12.5% that goes back to Subway, 4.5% is spent on marketing. The rest goes back to head office and the DeLuca family, who still own the brand. Subway's freshly made sandwiches put the calorie count in the customer's control. But how do they pack a sandwich with that punch of flavour fast food aficionados crave?
The extra toppings and sauces that Subway offer are really appealing. You can come in and have it your way. You can add on whatever you like, and I really think that's a clever way of boosting the flavour of that sandwich. It could be just a plain chicken sandwich, but by the time you're finished with all your toppings and sauces, you've got this incredible flavour bomb in your hands ready to eat.
The secret is the sauce. Any one of the 11 options on offer will add that final flourish of flavour that seals the Subway deal.
Our best-selling Subway sauce is definitely Southwest. We might maybe go through in this store a box a day. So you get a box with 8 bags, and each bag fills 2 sauce bottles, so it's a good bit of sauce we go through, yeah.
We're such suckers for the sauce that Subway estimate Great Britons will gobble up a gobsmacking 1 million gallons of Southwest sauce this year. While Subway's actual recipe remains a secret, we asked Chef Dave to show us what goes into a Southwest sauce and why we love it.
We're going to start with the dry ingredients. This is where we build all the flavour. We've got a smoked paprika, a teaspoon of this, garlic granules. We've also got some salt, Worcester sauce, flavour on flavour on flavour here, and there's a teaspoon of this. Really strong flavour. The chipotle paste. This is the real star of the dressing. And now we've got the mayonnaise. This is the largest quantity of ingredient in this dressing. So when you're ordering your sandwich, you probably wouldn't realise there's so many ingredients just in the dressing alone. And that's just their way of packing in flavour into that sandwich and getting you coming back for more.
It's day 5 of Mike's week of Subways, and so far, he's still coming back for more.
Today was a good day. 2 footlongs, 2 whole feet of sandwich. We're past the halfway point. There are only 3 days left. Am I sick of sandwiches yet? Not quite.
They do look unappetising when you open them up, but a bacon sandwich with ketchup and cheese. Decided to forego the sausage because I'm not a fan of Subway sausage.
Want some Subway? No. Fair enough. Well, there we go. Day 5 of a week on Subway done. Another 2 foot of sandwich consumed. And to be honest, I kind of feel like it now. I kind of resent the fact that I'm going to say this on television, but I'm pretty backed up. There's all those carbs just backing up on top of other carbs with nowhere to go.
Mike's metabolic problems aside, carbs are a core element of the Subway offering, and you can load up even more of them with the ever-popular meal deal.
Yeah, I'll occasionally do the meal deal. I just go with either a cookie and a soda or something.
I usually just get the meal, so it's like £8 something. I get a sub, I get a cookie, and I get a drink as well, so it's all right.
The cost of getting a customer through your door in any business is significant. When your customer is through the door and you're selling to them, the ideal is you sell them more. That goes for pretty much any industry.
The retail model is to upsell at every single point that they can. The questions are weaved within your service experience. Do you want a 6-inch or a 12-inch? You want a bigger sandwich, it's more value for money. At the end of the sale, do you want a drink to go with that? Because they want to give you a meal. There's a cookie involved as well, just at the end, because you want that sweet treat. It's a better value proposition for you, but it's also much more revenues for them.
Subway say they do not upsell, but that their sandwich artists have set questions to ensure the customers get the sandwich, wrap or salad they want, and it is up to the guest to determine the size and type of product they desire.
You can have the sandwich or you can have the sandwich as a meal, and usually it's a negligible amount more to basically get the full meal. So then you've got your cookie or your crisps with a drink. And it was always quite easy to sell someone up from a 6-inch to a footlong as well, because it's not like paying twice as much. It's a little bit more, and people would tend to go for that.
So it's an interesting balancing act of making consumers feel like they're getting fantastic value for money while also encouraging them to spend more money than they originally planned to spend.
With a Subway on every corner, how can small independents up and down the country compete with a sandwich superpower? At Peace in Glasgow,
sumac spiced onions,
co-founder and director John Moore
pickled chilies,
knows his pickles from his onions when it comes to the sarnie market.
Subway as a brand is outstanding. They're on every single street in every single city. I'm not sure about around the world, but they've had phenomenal success and they are used as a benchmark, rightly or wrongly, for the sandwich industry.
On the surface, both Subway and Peace have a lot in common.
Peace as an offering is an individual bespoke sandwich. Everything's made by an individual for an individual.
But a quick look at the books will tell a very different story.
The differentiation between us would be their scale, their scale of production. We're still a small independent sandwich shop. We don't have very high margins. Somewhere like Subway would have enormous margins. If we were to have a margin that was comparable to theirs, we would probably have to charge about £12 for a sandwich.
A sandwich at Peace costs between £5 and £6. So if they can't increase their margins, what can they do to survive in the shadow of the Subway giant?
I always say to my colleagues that someone may have walked 15 minutes to come to our shop rather than going to the Subway that's in their building. So their experience within that has to be perfect, or at least has to be different. Now, many people might think that that isn't better. A lot of people will go to their place like Subway because they think that's the best, and that's absolutely fine. The people that come to us think that we're the best, and they're our loyal customers. I don't think we would lose customers to Subway, just it's a different demographic.
Coming up, what 7 days of Subway have done to Mike.
I've had so much meat and cheese and bread. My guts are not thanking me, if you know what I'm saying.
And how a cookie is a cornerstone in Subway's profits. Food vlogger and human guinea pig Mike Jeevons is coming to the end of his week-long Strictly Subway diet.
And go! It is the 7th and final day. So here is my dinner for the evening. It is a chicken and bacon sub, foot long, 750 calories.
With his final foot-long down the hatch, what has a week of eating nothing but Subway done to Mike's well-being?
I've had so much meat and cheese and bread. My guts are not thanking me, if you know what I'm saying.
And his weight?
Well, my starting weight was 15 stone, 2.4 pounds, so let's see what the damage is. Wow, okay, I will take that. £3 loss. Nice.
What about his mood?
That was a week on Subway. I am a little bit sick of bread now, so I may have to have a few days with minimal carbs just to kind of try and get my body used to the fact that it's not having bread like all day, every day. And I think maybe Subway would even say, shouldn't have it every day. Mix things up, be crazy, have a varied diet, why not? I have told myself I'm not going to have any more sandwiches, but I think I may have formed some sort of mild addiction because I kind of want another one.
Subway's millions of customised sandwich options should be enough to keep Mike and his burgeoning butty habit happy. But there's only one option for dessert: a cookie. So are Subway missing a sweet trick or cleverly cashing in?
Subway and cookies seem to go hand in hand. They're very cheap to produce and they get a really good sales ratio through.
Cookies are the winning ticket when it comes to profits. In a meal deal or a pack of 10, customers love these Moorish munchies. Subway sold 68 million of them in the UK and Ireland last year. That's 2.2 cookies per second.
They're cookies, they're bad. The rainbow one. The rainbow one's nice.
Yeah. I love the Subway cookies. I think they are cheap, they are tasty, they are good value. They have a vegan option as well, which is amazing to see on the high street.
Natisha Patel is a food consultant with a soft spot for a Subway cookie.
I work with companies from small restaurants to large food manufacturers. I work with their chefs and I work with their food developers to develop new recipes and new menus. My career in food actually started off with Subway somewhat 15 years ago now, I think. I had 2 Subway franchises in the family. They were owned by my uncle, who gave me the chance of being an assistant store manager. So I worked there for a total of 4 years, managing 2 stores. I absolutely love going back to a Subway and just grabbing a double chocolate chip cookie. They are my guilty pleasure. They're just so indulgent and the flavour of the chocolate really comes through well, and it's just great value for money.
Natisha's using the make-at-home recipe the company made public during lockdown to show us the secrets that go into making those Subway cookies.
Now, from my time at Subway, I actually remember looking at the pieces of chocolate in the cookie thinking, oh my God, they're square, they're not chocolate chip. But you know what? I think they've done that for a reason, because it looks a little bit more homely. I mean, just look at the pieces. They're rustic, they've been roughly chopped. It's all things that make you feel good.
Subway's cookie is a business no-brainer, a low-cost item that delivers high profits. Across the globe, they sold 703 million of them last year. And Natisha's got the inside scoop on how they achieve the perfect bake.
When I worked at Subway, the cookies used to come in already shaped, and all you had to do was take those out and put them on a tray. We used to use special silicone mats, which have circles on there, which determine how far the cookie mixture should spread. Once it's got to that circle, you take them straight out the oven because you don't want them overcooked.
Using specially marked baking trays is Subway's secret to getting consistency of appearance and taste in every cookie they sell.
Let's get them baked.
The cookie's cake-like texture is what sets it apart from a traditional British biscuit. So what's the secret?
So the trick with the Subway method of making the cookies is to pull them out the oven just 1 or 2 minutes earlier and give them a longer cooling time just so they stay a little bit more chewy in the middle. So time for a quick taste test, the bit I've been looking forward to. So good. Just a little bit more indulgent, that butteriness coming through. Definitely up there with the Subway cookies. So indulgent, so chocolatey, so rich, the perfect amount of sugar to chocolate to flour to butter.
So that's how Subway do it. But will they keep on doing it in the future as food trends and eating habits change and evolve?
Being a development chef and a food consultant, something that I love to see right now is how Subway have adapted to the whole vegan trend. I absolutely love going into a store and seeing all these new vegan plant-based options, and especially with the salads as well. The salads have changed dramatically because now you can have sprinkles like the guacamole, some blush tomato, beetroot, shallots, crispy seeds. I think that's really innovative.
And the global giant that started as a simple sandwich store is now clicking with a whole new customer base.
It's interesting to see now how busy they are as a result of the way we've gone with food delivery apps. Back in the day, they would have had 6 operatives on making sandwiches, and they still have those 6 dealing with inside customers, but also Uber's going off, Deliveroo's going off, Just Eat's going off now. So they still have those traditional customers that go into store, but they also have this new wave of customers that are sat at home and ordering off food delivery apps. And they've accommodated that really well.
But even if the future means home-delivered subs, overflowing with vegan options ordered through a phone app, the selling point at the heart of it is still the same: customization.
What kind of bread would you like? It's something quite phenomenal in terms of what they've achieved. When you think about it, at the end of the day, it's just some bread with some fillings in it.
But what a sandwich it is!
That's got nuts in it, is that all right?
It feels like it's all about you as a consumer. Works perfectly.
There you go. Thank you.
That's how Subway became the biggest fast food chain in the world.
I would like steak and cheese, thank you very much, on that lovely Italian bread, nicely toasted with a lot of salad. And you've got that Southwest sauce, bang, that's what I want.
Turkey, ham, bacon. I usually add a bit of extra cheese. It comes with cheese, but I add extra cheese. And I have it microwaved, not toasted. very specific, with lettuce, red onion, cucumber, and barbecue sauce on plain Italian bread. That's my favourite sandwich.